There was one thing kids all needed growing up to take to school. No, it wasn't a paper and a pencil. It was a lunchbox. So let's talk about the Star Wars lunchboxes. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with a whole new video. What are we going to talk about today? Well, you already know because you clicked on this video, so you saw the title or the thumbnail or the little teaser at the beginning. But I'm going to act like you didn't see all that and tell you what we're talking about. We're talking about lunch boxes, like this one right here, made by Thermos. There was nothing better to take your lunch in back in the 80s than a metal lunchbox. Although some of the loser kids did take their lunch in a plastic lunchbox. Yeah, a plastic lunchbox. You can still hear that smell. You can still smell that metal when you open it up. That metal sound. And it has a thermos inside, just like back in the 80s. And this is a pretty nice one inside, very clean. You can still smell your peanut butter and jelly sandwich sitting in there, getting all rusted in your metal lunchbox. It was always good to throw some extra figures in to take your figures to school without anyone knowing. And that's right. Did that many of times. I did a whole video about lunchboxes showing each one I had throughout the years. But this video here is going to be all about the Star Wars lunchbox. Not going to talk about the Pac-Man lunchbox that I got just to impress Amy Covey. But let's go back to the original Star Wars movie. That's not the original Star Wars movie. That's Empire Strikes Back. Let's go back. In fact, let's put this somewhere where you can see it a little better here since I'm going to be talking about it. How about right there? Does that look good? Can you all see that? And look, let's just see the other side of it. I wish I had more lunch boxes to show you in person, but sadly this is the only one. So, let's go back and talk lunch boxes now. Let's go back to 1977. But first we're going to go up north to Canadian country. And we're going to look at Canadian lunch boxes from Star Wars. And I don't know if they did just plastic, but the first one we're going to look at is a plastic lunchbox. Now, back in school, we called them loser lunchboxes, but you probably all call them plastic lunchboxes. Let's take a look. And the first plastic lunchbox we have is this one right here with a drawing of Darth Vader, a very popular drawing of Darth Vader at the time, the two droids, and then some scenes from the film. As you can see here inside, you can see the cantina, the orange cantina. Thermos. I don't know why I said it was a canteen. I don't know why I said it was cantina. I guess I was thinking about a canteen. But there's the inside of it. Here's where you would put all your meat and your Lunchables, maybe your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Do they eat peanut butter and jelly sandwich up north? Maybe they'll put maybe a sandwich with some Canadian bacon and maybe some pimento beans on it. Right there, put it right there, and maybe a little snack. I don't know what you guys in Canadian snack on. Maybe some Dave Foley crackers right there, and it'll be ready to go. And here's a yellow plastic lunchbox, also released in Canada. As you can see, it's just a plastic lunchbox with a sticker. That is a very famous picture also, and one that was used for the metal lunchbox in the U.S. Now, I'm not saying some of these boxes didn't cross over to the United States also, but a lot of them didn't. Now, you think the Canadians is weird having a plastic lunchbox? Check out this Japanese Star Wars lunchbox. Not really a box shape, it's more of an oval, but it's got C-3PO and R2 right here, and a bunch of Japanese writing that I can't tell what it says, and a copyright date at the bottom. Not really sure why there's a separate tray. I guess you put your little, or you put the rice around the corner here, and then you put your rice patty in the middle. Oh my God, that's racist. I'm going to get demonetized. That's just a joke, people. Please relax. But that's a look at the Japanese lunchbox. Now let's look at the lunchboxes from the United States. And first up, we're going to look at something I always like to look at, unreleased items. Let's look at an unreleased R2-D2 lunchbox. Again, I don't know if I can call this one a box, but it looks like it's a container that looks like R2-D2, although it says Star Wars on his dome. But you can see here, you just unzip R2's head, and you can put all your lunch inside of it, and you can head down to the cafeteria at lunch break and have a lot of fun. Isn't that a crazy unreleased lunchbox? Wacky stuff. Now let's look at the most famous Star Wars lunchbox problem of them all. Almost every kid had this lunchbox. At least one kid in your school. I know I carried it to school. What about you? Let's take a look. Here it is, the TIE Fighter versus X-Wing lunchbox with the red handle. Oh, it brings back memories. And let's look at the back side. It's a art of the land speeder scene. These are not the droids you're looking for. Very cool box. Everyone had this box. Like I said, this was if you were a Star Wars fan growing up in 1977, this is the lunchbox you wanted to take to school after seeing Star Wars, and most kids did. The first lunchbox was released with a blue handle and is extremely rare compared to the other one. If you notice here, the pictures on the lunchbox are the same. The most common lunchbox has images on the side, top, and bottom, but this one here just has stars on the top and bottom. Now, I don't want to pick on just you Canadian folks, because the US did get a plastic lunchbox also. So let's take a look at the 1977 plastic lunchbox. And here it is. This looks a lot like the Canadian ones, but a bigger photo. And it's just Darth Vader and the droids, and not the scenes from the film. And that's a look at the lunchboxes from the Star Wars film, which now people call A New Hope, but back then it was just Star Wars. But don't worry, if you were a fan of The Empire Strikes Back, you got to take your lunch to school in an Empire Strikes Back lunchbox. And if you were going to school with Dave Foley, you and him got to carry your lunch in a plastic Empire Strikes Back lunchbox. Well, let's take a look. Here it is in a light blue with a big sticker on the front of the cockpit of the Falcon with our heroes inside, a Yoda, and then Luke Skywalker and R2-D2. Don't worry, we're not just going to pick on the Canadians. Let's head over to the UK. And when you wasn't carrying your crisp in your Mighty Python lunchbox, you could carry them in your Empire Strikes Back plastic loser lunchbox. Let's take a look. And here it is, a drawing of Darth Vader and stormtroopers entering the Hoth Cave in a plastic red lunchbox. Now let's leave the UK and head over to the United States and talk about its release of Lunchbox. And the first one up is, of course, this one. We talked about it, kind of already showed it at the beginning, but let me show you better pictures over here so you can get a good look at it. The only thing I thought was kind of odd is this picture of Luke Skywalker. They got his eyes closed. Come on, why would you do that with the eyes closed? And it's got Darth Vader on the side. It's got Lando right there. It's got Bosk. It's got IG-88. Who else is on this thing? And, of course, we got Boba Fett. Everyone's favorite Boba Fett is Boba Fett right there. And it's got a scene from Hoth right here. And it has all the lunchboxes had a dent. Can you see that dent in it? Can you see that? There's always a little dent right there. And I never understood why they put that dent in it. Does anyone know why it has an inverse nipple on lunchboxes right there? Does anyone know why? I never figured that out why. Is it so you can get your... No, it's not. Put your knuckle in when you're carrying it. Got Luke Skywalker on a tauntaun, and got some Star Destroyers down there. And like I said, luckily I have the thermos in here also, so let's take a look. Oh yeah. Unscrew the top here. Now you can pull your little, put your pop in there, or whatever you want to call it. Or you can put some chicken noodle soup in here and close that right there. There you go. Let's put it down here. Let's do this. Put your little chicken... It smells good. Put a little chicken noodle soup in there, pour it in there, and then they get you a little spoon. It don't come with a spoon. You have to get you a little plastic spoon from the cafeteria, I guess, or something, stir it up. And you can have, well, it wouldn't hold much for chicken soup. I think I would just eat the chicken. Well, you can't really eat the chicken soup out of here either because the hole's so small. So I guess you're not going to eat chicken soup at school. So what you do here is you just put your top back on it here, and you're just going to have to fill it up with, you don't really want to put it in water because water's kind of boring. You want to, some Gatorade. I think I used to put Gatorade in it. Well, I did. My mom would put Gatorade in it. You don't want to put soda pop in it, as they call it, because if you put soda, you walk around all day like this, when you flip this little yellow thing, it's going to, trust me, I know it does that. So you can pour it in there and drink it like that, or you can just suck on it like it's a big dog nipple. So let's put the top back on it, and it's always a really tight fit, as you can see. Let's close it up right here. That's a look at the Empire Strikes Back lunchbox released in the United States. But it wasn't the only one. Let's take a look at another one. This one here has actual scenes from the film. You got Luke Skywalker about to shoot Yoda in the face. And on the back you got inside the Hoth base, you see a Hoth trooper with a big old laser cannon. Very cool, right? Also released in the United States in a plastic lunchbox was The Empire Strikes Back with the heroes all on Hoth there. You got Chewbacca, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker. Another one released in the United States with this one with an X-Wing fighter and some little scenes from the film. And that's a look at the lunchboxes from The Empire Strikes Back. But don't worry, we got another Star Wars movie that we had to carry our lunch in, and that's Return of the Jedi. So let's go back up north and check in and see what lunchboxes they had. And the Canadian lunchbox was blue with a sticker of Luke Skywalker on the front. Now it says it's a lunchbox, but it looks more like a lunch pail to me. And that's a look at the Canadian lunchbox. But let's head back to America and look at the United States release of the Return of the Jedi lunchbox. It's Luke Skywalker with the same picture used in the Canadian lunchbox, but it's on a metal lunchbox. There he is pulling a gun out on Jabba the Hutt. And got some aliens in the back fitting to grab Luke Skywalker. Ooh, it makes you want to watch the movie right now. And on the back up, we have Darth Vader giving us a hearty stare as he looks on at the Death Star in the back behind him and looks at his Star Destroyer as it moves closer, followed by TIE fighters. The loser lunchbox, the plastic lunchbox in the Return of the Jedi line, it had R2-D2 and Wicket. If you're the type of kid that would pick a plastic lunchbox over a metal lunchbox, then you're the type of the kid that would go to school with a Wicket lunchbox. Let's see what else is out there. After the release of the films had died down, what was next? Star Wars Droids. Yep. I don't know if I would have been called dead having a Droids lunchbox. Maybe that's because I was older by the time the cartoon series came out. But if I was younger when the cartoon series came out, maybe I would have carried my lunch in a C-3PO R2-D2 Droids lunchbox. Let's take a look. And here it is. We only have plastic of these, none released in metal. But here's the Droids lunchbox with a bunch of droids on the front and an ugly light blue. If you like Star Wars cartoons, but the droids just wasn't your scene, you could carry your lunch in an Ewok plastic lunchbox. Let's take a look. And here it is, the Ewok plastic lunchbox with Wicket on the cover, flying around in his hang glider. And that's a look at the Star Wars lunchboxes. Not sure about you, but I really do love them, at least the metal ones. Tell me in the comments below, what did you have? Did you have any of the Star Wars lunchboxes? Did you have metal or plastic? If you didn't, which one would you like to carry to school? I really love them. Like I said, just open them up, you get a throwback to being in school. You can smell that metal and that lunch and everything that used to be, and it really takes you back just opening it up, and that giving that sound of opening it, the metal and everything really takes you back. And I might just eat lunch out of it tomorrow. Put me some Gatorade right here. Put me a ham and cheese sandwich over here with a bag of pizzerias, and it'd be like I'm living back out in the 80s. I think I love it. I think this goes over here like that. Let's close that back up, and let's not talk lunchboxes anymore. Put the lunchbox back right there. But that's it. A look at the Star Wars lunchboxes. Again, let me know in the comments what kind of lunchbox you had or one that you wish you did have. And until the next video, we will talk again.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.